Hi everyone, thank you so much for coming back to this video series on COVID-19 update. Today I will talk about handling stress and how you can change your perspective of stress and change the outcome of the stress and anxiety. Nowadays, around the globe, we are living in this stressful situation. And I'm pretty sure this is not your first time or your first stressful event. And for sure, this is not the last one either. So it's very important for all of us to know how to handle stress and how to change the perspective of stress and change the outcome. And this is done based on big studies on thousands of people. In past 4 days on those videos, I showed you the map of the world and the confirmed cases of coronavirus or COVID-19 and the number of deaths. And today I will show you again the same map and the updated numbers, but I will add another angle to this map and to these numbers. And then after that, I will talk about the handling stress and how you can turn the stress into an advantage, both for your physical body and your mental status, and how you can change the outcome of the stressful and anxious situation that you are going through. All right, so let's take a look at the map and the numbers around the world. And then, as I said, I will add another angle to this. And then after that, I will talk about handling stress and how you can turn the outcome of stressful situation into an advantage for your physical and mental health. So if you pay attention to this map, just like before, like previous videos, we see all around the world are red, like from Asia to Europe to Africa to South America and North America, and even like the small islands and like the even is getting close to North Pole. So God bless Santa. Now let's take a look at the number. The confirmed numbers for today, the total cases is over 1.3 million. The total death is almost 74,000. Okay. Now, if I change this view, this is the total confirmed cases. And then when I change it to active cases, you see a little bit different. You see a little bit relief because first of all, the color is changed and the number of active cases are less than the confirmed cases because the number of recovered patients and the number of deaths are out of this picture. Now I'm gonna add something else here. So now you see all red here, and when I cover the red part and get your attention to this column, the green column, that they are the recovered patients. So far, we have over 275,000, almost 276,000 patients are recovered from COVID-19. So the number of recovered patients is rising. The mortality rate at the end, not right now, but at the end, when we know all the numbers, per prediction from the experts, it will be about 1% or less. And the number of recovery or the percentage of recovered patients from COVID-19 will be around 99%. How do you feel now? I believe we need to know the real numbers. We need to be aware of the reality around us. However, we need to focus on the best possibility, on the best outcome, and focus on those who are recovered. I don't say, like maybe some countries, they are fabricate the number, they are changing the numbers, and they are lying about the reality of this COVID-19. However, if we know the reality, we know the real number, and we have to know because we need to be prepared, we need to give service to those patients. But if we focus on the good outcome, on the best possible outcome, and focus on recovered people, our perspective is different now. There are a lot of things going on around the world, and I know this is a very stressful situation, and the world is changing dramatically. Maybe the consequences of this pandemic will stay with us for years. However, we can think in a different way. If you remember before COVID-19, we were talking about social media, how the social media was negatively affecting our relationship, about the relationship between family members, between friends, and the real social distancing was occurring around the world. Right now, actually, what is called social distancing, it's better to call it physical distancing, because socially we are getting more together, we are helping each other, we are seeking help, we are on social media to use it in a different way, in a better way, to see how are our family members, how are our friends, and we are calling people to see how they are doing. So basically, after this pandemic, we need to change our world. We need to build a new world based on some real values, some good values, because the social distancing, the real social distancing was occurring. Maybe regardless of the origin and all mysteries behind this pandemic, how did it happen and such, that's not my field of specialty, and I don't talk about it. However, this is the reality we are facing right now, and we have this pandemic, but we need to be prepared for after pandemic to change our world, to be better human being, to socialize more than before, real socializing, not only using social media and get social distance. And that's what happened before. Before, we were basically just using it's called social media, but we were actually, in our mind, we were in social distancing situation. But right now, because the social distancing is ordered, or we have to, is mandated by either government or by the situation from the virus, now we feel that we need to get connected. Now we feel we need to talk to each other more than before. And that's how the world is changing, and we need to be prepared for that. Now, I share with you the results of some studies on stress and how you can change the outcome of stress based on the view of stress you have. And this is based on several big studies, and the results are amazing. Let's talk about it. All right, so let's talk about stress and how your view of stress can change the outcome of stress, both mentally and physically. Literally, you can change the physiology of your body by viewing the stress in different ways. There are a lot of studies on stress and the outcomes, but I'm going to share with you two studies that the results were amazing. But before getting to those studies, based on our old knowledge of stress, stress is bad for your health. And that's what we have been taught from childhood. And even we as physicians, we told our patients for many years that stress is bad for you, is bad for your health. You're gonna die because of stress. And that was based on the results were coming out, because each stressful situation, based on those studies, on previous studies, both based on our knowledge and our view of stress, and still some people, when they don't know how to handle stress, it is bad for health if you don't know how to handle it. Each stressful situation, like life crisis, like financial crisis, or family crisis, like divorce, or losing a loved one, adds each stressful situation adds 30% chance of dying prematurely because of stress. But let's get to those studies and see why is different in different people. There was a big study on 30,000 participants here in United States. They were asked two questions. One, how much stress did you have in the last year? And the second question, do you believe if stress is harmful to your health? So based on the answer of these two questions, they were divided in two groups. They were studied for 8 years. And during these 8 years, the estimate was 183,000 deaths happened prematurely because of stress. So basically, 23,000 deaths a year in the United States just because of the negative view of stress. Because those people who believe the stress is bad for their health, they died because of stress. Like a high percentage almost. 23,000 deaths a year, that's the estimate in the United States, based on that sample, based on that 30,000 participants. This is a high number. And those people who believe that stress is not bad for their health, they believe the stress is an alert that our body actually is telling us there is something wrong and we need to be prepared, we need to handle it in a positive way, in the right way. They didn't die of stress. So another study was designed specifically to measure the rate of death in those people who believed that it was harmful for them, and for those people who didn't give care and didn't seek help, compared to another group who were seeking help at the time of stressful situation, and they were giving care for others. So basically, the next study was on 1,000 adults in different age groups ranging from 34 to 93. They were asked two questions. How much stress did you have in the last year? And if you cared or you're caring for other people. And the results was amazing. So in the group of these participants who were caring for other people and saw stress in a different way, and they were seeking of help, the rate of deaths or the number of deaths in this group was 0. They did study on the cardiovascular system and all like stress responses in your body. It's amazing that they found out actually the stress response in your body is not only releasing adrenaline and pumping up your heart rate and your blood pressure and your breathing rate, and these are the signs of like anxiety and when you're under stress. Those people who are caring for other people and viewed the stress, that stress was not harmful to them, but it was a wake-up call. It was alert to tell them, their body actually telling them that there is something wrong. So you need to seek help and you need to care for others. And interestingly, the oxytocin in these people were higher than normal. So each time we get stress, we release both adrenaline and cortisol and all other stress hormones, plus oxytocin. Oxytocin is like a defense mechanism that helps us to fight against the negative results of stress. But in people who seek help, in people who give service and help other people, the oxytocin level is higher. And it's a positive feedback that when you seek help, when you give help to others, even you have more oxytocin release. And that's why we need to change our perspective of stress. I have been in many stressful situations in my life. Like this pandemic, to me, is not that a big deal. Like personally, I know it's a big deal for the whole world. But I have been through many situations in my life much more difficult than this. So this is, compared to the other stressors in my life, this is nothing. It doesn't mean I don't get the coronavirus or I don't get like severe disease because it's physical. I might. However, I don't see it in a negative way like other people, because I have been through many stressful situations in my life, and I give care and I give help to people and I seek help from others. So I think oxytocin in my body is higher than many other people. So I think this is a wake-up call. Seriously, before this pandemic, we had the real social distancing. Using the social media, we were not talking to each other. We were not physically there. We were not connected. Even if we were physically there for each other, we were not connected at the high level. We didn't care for our children. Children didn't care for our parents. Couples didn't care for each other. And now, when we have this physical distancing that is call social distancing, which to me actually is physical distancing. But socially, we are more connected. We care for each other. We call each other almost every day to find out about family members, about friends, about people we care about. So this must be a wake-up call for all of us to change our world and to change the physical world also, to change how we see the world, to change the view of the world and how we see each other, how connected we were and now how connected we are and how connected we will be in the future. Maybe we need to change a lot of things. So look at this pandemic, look at the world in a different way. Imagine that you have an old house, an old building, and you have a lot of problems with that building, with that house, and you want to change it. You want to have a new design, very nice building. What do? First, you demolish it. When you are demolishing it, you don't see any good picture of this new, nicely designed house. You see everything is getting destroyed and the view is not good at all. Now we are living in that situation, especially when you watch TV channels, when you watch news, when you're part of many chat groups and social media groups, it looks like it's end of the world. It has changed everything. It has changed all aspects of our lives. It has changed our economy. And the consequences of this pandemic is going to be huge in the world, the whole world. Some countries, maybe their economy gets better, I don't know, because they're selling the equipment to everyone now. However, in the future, we need to review our personal and professional life, our view of our lives, and our view of the world as a whole. And we need to get connected or reconnected as one species. We are human beings, regardless any physical differences or differences in our religious views or political views or any other views. But we are from one origin and we are one species. So we need to get reconnected again, like our ancestors, the Homo sapiens. The only thing they saved them that they could survive and thrive to today's life was sociability. As I said I think it was the first video, they were not the strongest, they were not the fastest, and they were not the smartest. But somehow they survived and they thrived. And that was because of this social characteristic of the Homo sapiens. But we were losing this attribute. We were missing it. Now we have to change. We have to get back to our root. We have to reconnect with each other and change the world to make it a better place to live. Maybe in the future I will talk again about how to handle stress and anxiety, because one of the topics in near future is how to boost your immune system. part of that, well, it's physical, using like different vitamins and stuff. But part of that is mental also, and how our beliefs can change our mental health and the physiology of our body. Because oxytocin, actually in these studies, showed that they changed the diameter of the vessels when people are under stress, and they view the stress is bad for them. Adrenaline and cortisol and other stress hormones are released in our body, like in every person's body, and that response, that stress response, makes your heart faster, your breathing faster, you maybe break out to sweat, and your heart is pounding. And in those people who don't care about other people and see the stress in a negative view, the diameter of their vessels, especially the coronary arteries are the vessels that feeds your heart. So the blood goes through your heart muscle, through the coronary arteries. The diameter of the coronary arteries gets narrower. But in those people who have high level of oxytocin, those people who seek help and give service to others and help other people, the oxytocin is higher, and then oxytocin actually helps the coronary artery relax. So even your heart rate is high, you're breathing fast, your heart is pounding, but the diameter of the coronary vessels are normal because they are relaxed. So that's why the premature death in those people are lower. So the result is, the point is, we need to get back to each other, to help each other, to connect with each other, and see the stress as an alert. So our body tells us, this is the alert, this is alarm to wake you up, to seek help and to give help to those people you care about, to those people who need help. And that's why we need to reconnect again and help each other all around the world. Thank you so much for watching. See you on the next video.